We have to get back to nature. The more healthy and natural products we eat, the healthier we become. Hello, this is Terry Bell with another edition of Herb Doc. Hello, this is Terry Bell back again, this time with Dave Peterson from Saskatoon, not Ontario, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And he's a show tape practitioner, a second class. And a show tape practitioner, if you don't know what that is, when you come to see them, don't tell them nothing until the end of the test. They'll look at your eyes, tongue, and teeth, do a muscle test, and tell you how you feel, think, and where your pain is. Now, why I'm asking him here today on this program was because of weight loss. What are things that he has found that cause people to gain weight, and then they lose it and they gain it? What is happening? And the first one, it says here, the types of foods they eat. So what would that mean?
Foods that are hard to digest or don't agree with you, your body will store. For instance, eating wheat products. If you're allergic to wheat, you will just store the wheat, you won't digest it and make use of it. Foods like pop and sweets overload the pancreas, and again, the pancreas will store. Fried foods are the grease in the fried foods will make plaque and cause problems with your circulation system.
I see you're looking at your paper and that's not even written there. So you're a bit nervous today. So I'll just walk you through this, and I want to hear your answer because you're testing a lot of people and get good results, so you have to be good. The second one, why would a thyroid have anything to do with your weight?
The thyroid produces the electricity in your body, so if it's only working at 50%, that means your whole body is only working at 50%, so that your body is not able to function the way it's meant to.
Okay, that is a good answer. So if your thyroid's at 50, you can only get 50% better. Pancreas, why would pancreas affect your weight?
The job of the pancreas is to metabolize your food and balance your sugars. And if your pancreas is not working properly, the sugars you eat will do one of two things. It'll either store it as fat, or it's going to send it to your joints and cause arthritic type symptoms.
Okay, and then it says the liver.
And the liver, again, is responsible for digestion. So if you're not properly digesting your food, your body has a tendency to store foods that it does not digest.
Okay, and so that's why people get bigger and bigger and they don't even know why. They're fighting uphill.
Exactly.
It says the times throughout the day they are eating, like people with shift work. Why would that bug me or not bug you? Or
your body is used to a schedule, so you want to eat at the same time every day. That's why you get hunger pains at 12 o'clock, or most people do. Because if they're used to going for lunch at noon, that's when their body is ready to accept food. And if you're on shift work, so you're eating at various times, your body can't adjust to that type of a schedule, and so then it has a tendency to not properly digest, and then it'll start storing again.
So then every organ or gland eats at a different time of the day then?
That's right.
Is what you're saying?
That's right.
So if it does, like the heart eats at noon hour, so if you start exercising at noon, that's when people have a problem with a heart attack or a stroke. Here's eating too late. Like, what does that mean?
Well, if you eat and then go to bed, your body doesn't have a chance to metabolize that food properly. So there again, it's going to store instead of you're using it up. If you're eating a big meal at noon, by the time the day is over, you've burnt up a lot of that.
So how could a person know when he ate a wrong food? What would be a symptom?
Things like high acid will tell you right away that it's not agreeing with you, or poor digestion, puffed, bloated, those types of symptoms.
So you'd notice that right away. So then you know you're eating a wrong food.
That's right.
Okay, lack of good salt. What does that mean?
The refined salt that we usually get is heated and refined so that it's not able to, the body isn't able to use it. What we recommend is to use a product called Redmond Real Salt, which is a natural sea salt. By taking a bit of natural sea salt, or even with your food, and also even taking some in a glass of water, quarter teaspoon after a meal, you can avoid that puffed and bloated because your body then can properly digest. It'll make the right digestion.
Like, so what color is, do you tell by the color, or what do you do?
Well, any salt that's white has been refined and processed, so it's not available to the body.
So you don't want to use it?
No.
And you do use Redmond salt?
We do, and we use it for everything.
Okay, lack of good water intake. Like, so what's water? Water is in a bottle?
Water's in a bottle, but there's all types of water. One of the best is an alkaline water, because again, if you're drinking a water that's already in the acidic form, which is what you get out of a reverse osmosis, then you're just adding acid to your system. Also, distilled and even reversed osmosis does not have any minerals left in it, so that it's actually more of a dead water. So you need to remineralize it.
Okay, and how about lacking a good night's sleep? Did you know 80% of the population, it's an 80-20 all the time, lacks a good night's sleep?
Well, if your body isn't properly rested, then your organs and glands aren't rested neither, so they can't function the way they should, and so that you're not...
That would affect your weight.
Exactly.
Have you lost weight on a weight loss program?
I have. I have followed the ideal protein plan, and it has worked for me, and so that I can take off weight if I need to.
The first thing I notice on people, all seriousness aside, their head gets smaller when they lose weight. They don't have a big head to carry on. That's the first thing I do notice about weight loss. They don't notice it on their body. But right here, lack of a good source of minerals and vitamins. So what is a good source of vitamins and minerals? And do you have to have vitamins, or do you have to have just minerals?
No, you need vitamins as well to, how can I put it?
It says a good source of vitamins and minerals.
A good source.
So where would you, like, what do you do? Just give you a good vitamin mineral?
Well, you want to make sure that you know where you're getting it from, because a lot of vitamins and minerals that are on the market today are full of fillers and not properly formulated to be available to the body, so that we as show type practitioners do carry a line that's very useful to the body.
Okay, here's just a couple more before we go to a commercial. Skipping meals, why would that bother you?
Your body starts to feel if I'm not getting fed, I better store and hold on to what I've already got. So then I will start to store food that way.
Eating on a rush, you know what that is like on the road, right?
Yeah, so then you have a tendency to eat junk food or something that's handy, and again, it's not going to allow your body to properly metabolize it.
Okay, this is Dave Peterson with us from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and he's a show tape practitioner. And if you ever go to buy herbs, why waste hundreds of dollars buying herbs when they muscle test? It's very few herbs and cut off a few foods to put your body back on track. So remember, if you're eating the wrong foods, how you know? The first thing that happens, you get phlegm, tired. You can get headaches, heartburn, indigestion, diarrhea, dry itchy skin, sore joints, leg cramps, coughing or sneezing, and anxiety. And people get anxiety and they're on pills when they might be just eating the wrong food. We'll be right back with Herb Doc after this message. Thank you. Hello, this is Terry Bell. Has this ever happened to you? Tired of farting around? Here's a product I'm going to tell you about today, and it will start working on your bowel. If you get puffed, bloated, gastric, burping, farting, it could lead to constipation or diarrhea. You have a bowel problem, and you need to get the products for it. Any one of those, this is the product you want to be looking at. If you know what I mean, if you have a bowel disorder, irritable bowel, nothing's going to fix it medically, because the medicine, you know as well, fixes one thing, downs 10 others. Two things make you sick: an excess of one or a deficiency of another. An excess could be like a cow eating meat, eating the wrong foods. The other one is a deficiency of another. This will compensate for your deficiency. Like I said, are you tired of this happening and farting around? Well, don't do it anymore. Get to the problem and let's get it over. Okay? Thank you. I will see you in my office again. Thank you and bye. Hello, this is Terry Bell with HerbDoc, back for another section of diseases. And one of the biggest killers in Canada is heart attacks and strokes. So today I have Dave Peterson with me from Saskatoon, not Ontario, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And he will be talking and I'll be asking him questions. He's a very good practitioner. He's a second-class Shote practitioner. And what is a Shote practitioner? You drop in and see them. Don't tell them what's wrong with you. They'll run down your back and tell you where it's out. They'll tell you how you feel, think where your pain is, tell you what foods you shouldn't be eating, what you should be eating, and what herbs you should be on and what you shouldn't be on. So you're not wasting a pile of money, and it comes to about $2 a day. And when you have somebody tell you what's wrong, then you know they're good. So Dave here, the first one, heart attacks and strokes. It says some of the symptoms that a person could get. What are some of the symptoms? And they ignore them. Guys are tough, you know what I mean? They get a chest pain and say, oh, I work circles around those guys. I'm not going to tell anybody I have a heart chest pain.
Well, probably heaviness on the chest is one of or pinches in the chest area is one of the first ones that happens. And
but we get pains like that every day, people do.
Well, yes, and that's the trouble. And then they get ignored too many times too, and then you're in trouble.
Oh, yes.
But there's other things that'll go along with it probably. Very shortly, you can get heartburn, severe heartburn, because of course your acid level is going to go up in your system because there's something going on in it, indigestion, so that you will know that your system is under a lot of stress and pressure. And then with that, of course, will come nausea, and you won't know whether to throw up or have diarrhea, or if you'll have both at the same time.
That is a common one. You feel like you're going to puke, or you're going to use the toilet at the same time, and you only got one set of Pampers. So, okay. The next one?
You get sweating around the upper lip area.
Oh, yeah, when that sweat hangs on you.
That's right. Your eyelid can start twitching, or your pupil will even start pulsating so that it'll start to become larger, smaller. You'll probably get a bit of memory loss and confusion, shortness of breath.
That usually happens in court, though, memory loss.
You can get pain in the eye like a needle, like just a real piercing pain in your eye that will come, a sharp pain. Your pulse will probably speed up, so you'll start to get a beating or even feel it in your hands.
You mean like when you meet your wife for the first time, or your girlfriend, or both?
That's right. Your complex will start to get gray or white because, of course, their blood is not getting into your system.
A very good thing you said, gray. You go gray. Because when you become the color of nature, you're starting to get sick. Okay. Somebody looks green or gray, that means they're getting sick, and you should take it serious if they go gray.
Get a clammy hands and feet, and that's from the kidneys. So it's not just sweaty, it's real clammy because you're getting a high buildup of uric acid from the kidneys. You can get the shivers or feel like you've got the chills even though it's warm. You can feel like your hair is being pulled out, and that's a symptom of low blood pressure when that happens. And the other feeling you can get is feel like you're going up a tunnel.
Yes. See, while we're talking about heart today, I had a pacemaker put in at the age of 15, and it wasn't caused by a heart attack. It was a heart block. A blood clot blocked it, and I just blanked out.
Okay.
So that's why I went to check out heart attack and stroke first. But stroke symptoms are a little bit different than a heart attack. You're better off if you get a choice, which you don't, a heart attack or stroke. Heart attack is heart damage. Stroke is brain damage. And living in Selkirk, a lot of people have that. Go through some of the stroke symptoms.
Well, there again, you're going to feel a tingling and numbness.
What does that mean?
Well, either it feels like your hand's gone to sleep, or you can't feel anything with it, like if you're touching something and you don't have the feeling in it. Because, of course, again, the circulation is down, so the nerves aren't getting the blood the way they should. You can pass out and puke on yourself, and when you pass out, it won't be like a pass out when you're fainting or whatever. You'll just instantly go out with no warning. And usually when you do that, then you do puke because your body completely changes and relaxes. You can become paralyzed on one side of the face. You might see the edge of the lip drooping and that type of thing. So your one side of your face will change a bit of shape. One eye can get lazy, or your eyelid can droop. Again, your hand or arm can go dead or numb. You can get a real severe headache. Your speech can get slurred, and again, that goes with the next one. Stick out your tongue and it falls to the side or flips over. In other words, your tongue is going to not follow its normal, so that's why your speech will get slurred. You can't control your voice.
On your heart attack and stroke remedies, what would be the first thing you'd tell somebody that had a heart attack or stroke? If you're in the middle of a stroke, like I mentioned, cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper is probably the best and the fastest acting one. I guess the first thing we always tell our clients is see a doctor or go to the medical system, because that definitely is where you ought to be. But if you can't, some of these remedies that we have are also very good.
Last time I was in Saskatoon, because I see a lot of people in your town, and the guy the time before came, and I said his arteries were plugged 70%. He checked it with the doctors, and it wasn't. I was wrong. It was only 68%. But they were going to put stents in, and he took cayenne pepper 2 a day in the middle of the meal, so you don't get hot from these lips to the other lips. And if you do, take it with slippery elm, and that'll stop that. That heat went through, and when he went to his doctor, in 3 months, they said, your arteries are only plugged 26%. We're not going to waste $11,000 stents. And they didn't do his operation. Cayenne pepper, really amazing if you start going on cayenne pepper, because I use 4 every day. I can't use 5 because if I break wind, the dog doesn't have any hair. That's how much it burns. So if it burns, just cut it back, go back, and eventually you'll get to 4. 4 is really good a day. You'll stay very healthy. What's another one?
We have some really good products, like a product called MC, which is like a chelation product. That'll clean your arteries and veins, so it'll improve your circulation, and also will give a lot of strength to the heart muscle to keep your heart regulated properly.
What is chelation? What is chelation?
Chelation is a way of taking the heavy metals and that out of your system.
So how do they do that?
Well, it can be done intravenously, but we also can do it with oral products that will clean it out as well.
So intravenous, how would you do that?
There you have to go in for a treatment for whatever it is, an hour or 2 every week, and they introduce in vitamins and minerals, a proper concoction of that into your system, and then they can drain off the...
So how do they do it? Orally or
No,
what?
usually through intravenous.
So they put a cord in you?
I guess so, yes. I haven't had it done either, but I've heard of those who've had it, and they can tell a big difference, especially if they're...
Yeah, it's really effective. Yeah. I have a lot of my customers go for it.
Yeah.
Hundreds of dollars, yeah.
It is expensive, yes.
And it's 1/10 of the price if you take it by vitamin or mineral.
That's right.
Any other products?
We have a product called oral chelation that eats undigested food that can accumulate in the blood and also cause issues. Arginine tyrosine is nitric oxide, and again, what that does is helps the arteries and veins to stay soft and take away hardening of the arteries, and also makes them pulsate the way they're supposed to. So
What is nitric oxide, do you know?
Can't give you a clear
I know if you put it in your car, you go from 160 to 120 like that.
Okay.
It puts oxygen into
Yes.
the system just like that. Okay.
Ginkgo and hawthorn puts the heart back in time. Selenium and E.
Back up on that first one, ginkgo and hawthorn. Ginkgo is what? What is that herb used for? It's very, very commonly used.
Well, most people get excited about it for their brain power.
And memory.
And memory, yeah.
But Hawthorne, he said, puts the heart in time with the body. A very good thing, because if your heart is out of time with your legs, the heart's beating one way like a car out of time, and start knocking it off. And by the way, we will just go to a commercial and we'll be right back with Herb Doc. Thank you. Hello, Terry Bell, a Showtape practitioner. I'd like to tell you about an amazing product called bentonite. Bentonite, it's a form of mud. And how they discovered it, they were poisoning the rats, and they thought these rats were incredible. They'd poison them. They'd go down the ground and come back out. They found out how could they still be living? So they shot a few of them, opened them up, and they found out they'd go down the ground and eat bentonite. Bentonite is charged negative, like oxygen, draws poison into it, and they poop it out. So if somebody has an irritable bowel, amazing product for getting rid of irritable bowel, Crohn's or colitis. Somebody has diarrhea. Okay, remember I said you don't want to fart around with that. Diarrhea, that's a horrible problem to have. You have aches and cramps and pains. Bentonite, 2 twice a day. You'll be amazed. Somebody has dry, itchy skin, psoriasis or eczema. I've had many testimonies that they had horrible psoriasis for years, and you'll see some of them posted now on our website. Psoriasis and eczema is gone. Okay, just from bentonite. Food radiation poisoning, and a big one, acne. Acne is a big one. You know, you don't want to put the squeeze on anybody, but if you see a big, ugly pimple, you want to just take the person and squeeze it, give them bentonite. Another thing they could use for acne, beta-carotene. Beta-carotene and bentonite to clean that up. What a good product. Tonight, you want to have Ben tonight, okay? Maybe he's not your type of guy, but you'll like him. See you again. I just had to say Ben tonight. Terry Bell saying hello again from Herb Doc. I've got Dave Peterson with me, and we're so busy working on heart attacks and strokes. I nearly had a heart attack when I found out. We got a few minutes left to tell you how Dave got into this. How did you get into Showtape and become a Showtape practitioner?
I guess we met you some 17 or 18 years ago. I was on some medicines for acidity and that type thing, and I definitely was able to get off them after I started on your program. Also, I realized I probably, being a farmer, was more choked up in my lungs than I realized too, so that I got a lot of relief from that. We were kind of at the stage in our life where we were kind of looking to maybe do something different, and I tried the muscle test and found out that I could actually do that, and you were comfortable that I was able to do it accurately, so we just started to study, and from there it sort of just kept on growing and learning.
And it was amazing too, because Eileen's his wife, she came in one day and said, I'm going to do the writing and he's going to do the testing. And I thought, oh yeah, this is going to work. A couple of months later, a customer showed up and I tested him, and they pulled out a paper and said, you're pretty good. Why is that? This guy tested us and you came pretty close. You're as good as him. Okay. And then a second customer came in and said, wow, you're close to Dave Peterson's testing. You must be as good as him. I said, I hope I am. I taught him. And he became a very good tester. He went from a 4th class to a 3rd to a 2nd now. He's very close to a 1st. You're the oldest tester we have. And not the ugliest though. Okay. But you've touched a lot of hearts. Do you have any miracles right off the start? You told me one with HCLO the other day.
Yeah, we had, and actually he was a younger fellow too that was a carpenter and was struggling with tendonitis in his elbow and that type thing, and he couldn't believe it. He showed up HCLO for him, and boy, he said in no time his elbow was cleared up and that. And another real good example too of HCLO is we had an elderly lady who was diabetic, and she was to the point where she thought she was going to have to go in a home because she could hardly get around anymore, and we put her on HCLO and her blood sugar balanced and she got her mobility back, and she's still quite independent right now.
Oh, good to hear. You hear miracles every day as you work, eh?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Are you glad you took Showtape?
Yes, I don't know that there'd be anything else I'd be interested in doing, that's
Yes.
for sure.
You get a nice feeling when you help people.
Well, definitely, yeah.
And you know what else too? You feel like you're not lost. Somebody can fall down on the ground and
Well, yeah, and even for my own family, I mean, I feel comfortable that I probably know what to do in a lot of cases that I wouldn't have before.
I heard your daughter's getting really good at muscle testing part.
Yes, she's able to look after her children so that they have never been to a doctor for anything like of a sickness. They may have been there for a broken bone, but not for sickness.
Yes, it's very neat. Something happens to a family member, you don't have to sit around and say, oh, what happened? You muscle test and you already know, and never tell a doctor what's wrong with you. They go in there and give them the right symptoms and the rest. But when you know already what's happening, it's amazing.
That's right.
Thank you, Dave, for being with the Shote Association. You're one of the top testers in there. And Saskatoon is a big area. And you know, when you can help somebody, love never fails. You always go 100 miles to help somebody. And when you can help them and nobody else has got that trade, there's only 22 in all of Canada. You are blessed. This is Terry Bell talking with Dave Peterson, a Shote practitioner, second class from Saskatoon. If you have a chance, drop in and see him. One of the nicest guys I know. Maybe not that you know, but that I know. And he's very good with people and passionate, and that's what you want. You want somebody to find a disease before it happens. You don't want to go there after it happens. We'll see you again on Herb Doc next week. Thank you.